Oh, this case is called Bloodbath.
Yep. You can't even get mad. You can't even get mad at it.
What were the other cases named?
Riddle on the Rails and something of Black Peter.
None of those are as good as Bloodbath.
No, Bloodbath is really awesome.
Bloodbath is great. Bloodbath is like an episode of Star Trek where they start to get cheeky with the titles.
And it's great because, like, but I remind me to come back to that, please.
Yes.
But it's great because, like, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle could never get away with that. Like, Riddle on the Rails, like that's something he could title his story. But
Yeah.
Are you sure you
Bloodbath
can't
would be
give
like
her the finger or something? Moon her? We said moon her last time, but we gotta be able to... Okay, I'm looking
Is
at...
she even looking at us?
just like
What window is she even in?
Turn the telescope
window
around
there.
so that the big lens is facing her window, and then just put the little end right up against your butthole.
What? Well, what were we? What happened in Sherlock? We took a week off.
Look
And,
at your goals. Check your squad goals, Joshua.
Okay. Whoa! What the fuck? Did you guys see that? What?
I did actually, yeah. Presumably it'll be in the recording.
Ooh, it's a cameo appearance. She's a character from Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper.
Oh,
Wait,
right.
really?
Yes,
That's the lady in the
lady.
window?
Yes.
Is there a
She
reason
is
that
the
she's been
catnip lady.
standing in a window staring in our direction for the past 3 months?
Well, apparently it's like a coming up story because she used to be like, I guess she was a poor lady somehow, and now she's she hates cats.
She's got a room which contains at least 5 square feet for her to stand in front of a window.
She once offered Holmes to a ride on a big carousel. Round and round, up and down.
That's a really oblique innuendo, and I feel like whatever it promises is unpleasant in character. Oh yeah, baby, this thing should have been decommissioned 15 years ago, but a lot of people have fond memories of it, so it's kept around.
All right, so I believe we identified a location where the late archaeologist man, whose name I don't remember, Rodney Bentcliffe, was going to find some discovery that would change everything.
Right, Rodney Bentcliffe is one of 2 world-class names in this episode, and I'm trying to remember the other one. I'm sure we will discover it soon enough.
Percival Blinkhorn.
Percival Blinkhorn. That's the one. Okay, yes, so regarding coming up with, like, I hesitate to say clever titles for things, but just like cheeky or cute. That's one of my favorite parts of RPG design for deniable assets, is I've been sitting down coming up with like names for various playtests. Like here's a little sneak preview. I think there's gonna be one where you were designing like a game console, which is like a VR Oculus Rift type thing, but the idea is that like while someone's jacked into it, you can make them like subconsciously do things like, you know, access their bank and transfer funds or something while they think that while they're otherwise like occupied playing the game, and it like sends the signals that their arms are actually like doing the controls while they're actually doing whatever you want them to. And I'm gonna name it the playtest control scheme.
this would be your favorite thing of all of this is writing pun names.
It's pretty sweet. Actually, in all seriousness, while I probably my favorite part is coming up with like the mechanical design, but my second favorite part is coming up with like the flavor, and like writing the in-universe like mission briefings and stuff.
Followers of Mithras were covert. They were convert, worshipping more conventional deities such as Juno or Neptune in their everyday lives. Mithras temples usually found below the temples of other gods.
So what are we doing?
So, Bentcliffe was killed in a way that is similar to a mummy that was found. And the mummy was apparently associated with the mystery cult of Mithras, which is real.
Yep. So the question is, what does this mean for anything, for anyone? Are we to assume that the murderer was literate? It's like a historian? Is this a reference? Is this a JoJo reference?
Probably.
Probably is, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. So there is this note is saying that Mithraic mysteries had like a knife which is used to sacrifice, and it was like specifically curved in nature. Not sure what the relevance of that is to a case where somebody was stabbed in the eye, but there you go.
No, the eye was removed and they were stabbed. Oh no, maybe they were stabbed in the eye, but it was a curved blade, which is what makes that relevant.
No, I was being
go.
ironic.
The game getting you up to date with stuff that I explained not last week, but last time.
In that case, I believe we can safely skip through it. Just so that the viewer doesn't have too many
7 grades of initiation
scenes where they just look at pages.
Meals.
Underground temple.
Cool. Slaughtered a bull.
Yep. So, Watson, for this case, we're going to need to murder a bull. What exactly do you expect to learn from this, Holmes? I don't know. Let's just try it and see what comes out.
So is this giving us any more brain droppings?
Brain
empty
dropping.
coconuts that they use to imitate the sound of horses' hooves. Is this gonna be a fucking parody of Monty Python? People feeling that Dark Eye was upon them would melt their valuables in the fire.
This is the promise
You found
of
that
Monty
silver
Python
in the
reality.
fire.
All right.
Anything cool we have?
Sherlock Holmes very carefully studies all of this random garbage and decides that he can't magically come up with the use for any of it just yet. So I will say, and this almost feels like it's ungrateful, or like a lot of people would like really disagree with this kind of comment, but I always get not super happy when I'm playing a game like this and I stumble across a very large area.
Yeah.
The Cyclops, a one-eyed
Like, it's
creature
cool.
helping Vulcan at the forge.
That I could do self-directed, like,
Vulcan,
investigation
the god
in
of
this
fire
very
and
large
metalworking.
expanse, but also it's like more space to miss something, like more space to sort of trot over if I'm like, oh, let's go take a look at that other thing, like I need to go hiking across like, once again.
Yeah, and like with the game where you really want to make sure that you see
I don't
everything.
need the ropes for now.
But what's interesting is that,
Oh.
that is still a pain in the ass, even if traversal itself isn't as bad. Like, I'm picturing an adventure game version of this where you just click around the screen and can instantly teleport. But even if it's just 3 clicks or 3 screens away,
Yeah.
having to do that can feel like a pain in the ass, even if it's literally 4 seconds of just click, click, click.
Excavating tools, a bucket, shovel, and brush.
So I don't know if it's the space itself, but like the mental burden of having to traverse
Yeah.
in general.
And having to manage all these areas. Plus, like, I mean, there is also the matter of the physical traversal. Like, I think I spent 4% of my childhood listening to my mother yell at her character in adventure games to, like, run faster. Like, the decent ones would be like, you double click and they'd start, like, briskly jogging.
Hey, Chris, I've got another example for you to use your medical skills
Neptune,
on.
the god of the sea.
It's a statue, and it's also a statue of a god. Although
Yeah,
seeing the
it's
phrase
not-
Neptune,
Wait,
seeing the
does it
phrase
have-
Not
Neptune,
saggy
god of
one,
the sea.
Put some vines in the way.
It is a statue
Oh.
of
You
Minerva.
coy minxes.
Anyway,
Construction hooks.
what were you saying, Alex?
Hey, Josh, can you
I
lower
said
the
the-
transparency
I-
on those vines?
I said the butt
Let's
isn't
go.
saggy.
Oh, is it?
And curved.
I mean-
no, it isn't. Like that weird butt.
It's a little weird though.
It's
Are
Calipigian.
you implying that Sir Rodney Bentcliffe was murdered by a saggy, curved butt?
No, we're saying that Rodney Bentcliffe had a saggy curved butt.
He had
we are not
the
impressed
saggy
with
butt
Sir
when he was off the
Bentcliffe's.
table. Yeah,
We
it
are
was
not
no
impressed with Sir
good.
Bentcliffe's ass.
This railway
The rigor
is
mortis
built
should
to remove
have
rubble
kicked in
from the
and got some robust butt action going on. That's all I'll say.
Oh boy, that's dark.
Robutts action. Appropriate awkward
Hopefully,
pause.
when we all
and
die,
we can
somebody
continue.
says that we have killer glutes.
Oh, there you go.
Thank you
There
for the
go.
wealth of available episode titles for this one.
This wall was covered with mud recently.
Yes.
Could be hidden
Many
here.
assets to draw from.
Oh, you know,
So,
having
how
Sherlock
much of this did they
Holmes
fuck up?
excavate an archaeological site fills me with an intense amount of discomfort.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is how much archaeological history was lost just because, like, Victorian methods were probably not the most careful?
Oh, so fucking much. Do you guys know about Mummy Unwrapping Party?
Yeah. Yeah, yes. There's a lot of tombs
I
that were
can see.
excavated in the, like, late 19th century that were done in early 20th, really, that were done in, ways that... No. Oh, this is a puzzle. That were done in ways that were not very thorough, you know, stuff wasn't documented where it was found, and so there's a lot of questions that we have about the history of
It is
certain
located
regions
at the
that
Roman baths in London.
can't really answer,
Someone took the
because
time to hide the fresco, but what for? I need to
the
visit this
excavators were careless.
And as I was alluding to, they would just, like, buy a mummy and have a party with the mummies just sort of hanging out in the middle of it. And then
Yep.
they just, like, grab some whatever tools are available and get the wrappings off the mummy and be like, ah, yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, look at it. Oh, I'll be darned.
place. It is a broken statue of a
How much
bull.
was this? I might get one. I might get one.
Where is this river?
Not much to do with the
Like,
mummy
what
after you
river is
unwrapped
this?
it.
Damn it, Josh, I was going to say England.
This is the map of the site. We are at the heart of an old Roman city.
So this was clearly a temple that had a fresco at them. Maybe it was a house.
Josh,
I'm not really sure
I got a
what that
question,
was.
apropos of nothing. Not
Yeah.
to rush you here, but what exactly do you make of the schematic there?
it looks like a siege tower
Right? Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
siege tower.
crossbow with a grappling hook on it.
The gastrophets
Any
were used
thoughts,
with ropes and
connections,
hooks
anything
for
come to
sieges.
mind?
I feel like you're going somewhere with this, and I have
No,
gotten lost on
no.
the way.
I'm not going anywhere with it.
Are we gonna have to build one? Oh no.
This is a reproduction of an ancient Greek crossbow.
So then it smash cuts to Sherlock having a group of ponies towing a siege tower around London with Sherlock and Watson at the top.
This is a reproduction.
Laying siege to unreason.
The gastrophets were used with ropes and hooks for sieges.
Well, that sure is an ancient word, so this is probably historically accurate.
Gastrophetes sounds like an old-timey Latin word for indigestion. Are they all writing to that guy?
Yep.
I don't know who Blackmore is.
I don't know who Blackmore is, but Blackmore's Knight is pretty good.
Oh,
Sorry
You
about
just-
Jesus Christ.
You have such a
Josh.
distaste for
Ding!
Blackmore's Knight that you discharged a glass against a wall.
that. No, I knocked one glass against another.
Order up.
Oh, startlingly loud. So,
What?
I just want to say that, like, Blackmore's Night, it's a British-American folk band, one that I'm pretty fond of. I think probably Lorelei and Diamonds and Rust are my favorite of their songs, Diamonds and Rust obviously being a cover. But a lot of, like, folk bands have kind of lame or dumb names, and I didn't really think much of Blackmore's Night, but then I looked into why it's called that, and this is true. It's because it was founded by the duo Richie Blackmore and Candace Knight. It's like, yeah, okay. If you've got a guy named Blackmore and a lady named Knight, yeah, call your band Blackmore's Night. That's entirely ideal.
I'm annoyed by this reference.
Also, just like, I like folk bands because it means that you had to have Wikipedia articles or things like, it consists mainly of Richie Blackmore, who plays acoustic guitar, hurdy-gurdy, mandola, mandolin, nickel harp, spelled Nyckelharpe, and electric guitar.
The fuck?
It's like an olden spelling of nickel harp. Nickel harpe. P.S. I ate Hobbs' tuna sandwich. Oh, do you get it? Do you get the
This
references?
is a reproduction of an ancient Greek crossbow.
I have noticed there are references here, yes. Okay, let's see here.
This seems to be the episode of references, because there was the Gabe Newell Steam thing, then there was like the Excavators, Calvin and Hobbes.
Yeah, and there was a reference to using coconuts to make horse sounds, which was explicitly done in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and I don't know, maybe other Monty Python works too.
Just that one.
Also, Sherlock Holmes.
Ah,
And there's a reference to the
forgot you
BBC
were here,
series
Watson.
Sherlock. They have a precocious detective protagonist who wears a deerstalker in several scenes.
Where's the mod for this that lets us play as Detective Pikachu? I will buy this game when the modders replace this model with Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if there was a game that had Detective Pikachu in it.
And Watson is just Mr. Mime. But it's just they even map it for the cutscenes, so you get those end cutscenes with like action scenes with guns, and it's Detective Pikachu and Mr. Mime solving Victorian action sequences. I think that'd be great. I want this. Stop putting Thomas the Tank Engine and Randy Savage in Skyrim and start work on this.
If I knew Bo Diddley about Pokemon, here's where I would make a joke about a teleporting Pokemon actually being the proper candidate for Watson, but
There are 12
as I've stated before,
Let's
I
try
do
to gather
not.
them.
Is there a teleporting Pokemon?
I will count this piece as a starting point.
Probably.
Yes,
I find
Abra.
it inconceivable. Okay, there we go. I was about to say, I
that's
find it
right.
That's like
inconceivable
all
that
of
there are
Abra's
so many
thing.
hundreds of Pokemon, and none of them have that gimmick.
No, Alex is right. It's Abra. My Pokemon foo is weak.
That's
Did you guys see that thing where, like, I asked my wife which Pokemon I'd be?
And what was the answer?
She thought about it really hard. Like, I asked her, and she didn't even reply. She just, like, looked off into space. And, like, I had to get stuff done that day, so I started, like, going around, going back to work, and things done. And she's just, like, in bed on her phone, just, like, flipping, like, she completely forgot about it. And then after, like, 30 minutes, she's like, found it! And then she shows me Bidoof.
Oh,
And for those of you who don't know Pokemon, like I didn't, Bidoof's like, it's like a beaver. And the actual rundown when you Google it in the window is category, plump mouse, type, normal, ability, unaware, simple, weakness, fighting. Also, height 1 foot 8 inches.
Wow, this could
Just
take
skip it,
a fucking
Josh.
while.
skip
no.
it.
Like, it's
we
not
use
even
our
really a
Sherlock
hard puzzle.
powers?
It's just like fucking convoluted. Like, why would you? It's
I will count the
You're right, Josh. This is pretty bad. I'd say this is like the second worst minigame in this chapter.
yeah. You mentioned something about a fucking rope bridge.
I don't know what would make you think that there's a rope bridge in your future.
So does it just have to make an actual square? Like, are we looking for the outside pieces to be smooth? So we get all the squares, like all the corner pieces go to the corners?
I think.
So we
Like
basically got
okay.
two options. One is that Josh can finish it here on camera, and the other is that we could do the puzzle but then cut it out of the episode so people don't have to watch you fuck around with it. But I think it's absolutely essential for the integrity of our show that we preserve the Josh suffering part. It's
I will
like
count
it's like
this
taking
piece
the chicken stock like out of your favorite dish. The vegetable stock, you know, it's just stuff boiled in water.
Skip it.
Well, I think I've kind of got it figured. Stop. Unselect. Thank you. Okay, this goes here. Okay.
This puzzle is actually pretty tricky. But I kind of found it
No,
stimulating, I will
don't
say.
swap them.
I think it's a nice touch how you can sort
the
of like
grooves are
hit
also
W to
differently
verify
shaped.
and it'll bring them in.
Yeah, some are square, some are round, and some are triangle.
Okay, so we need that's a
Which actually
swim.
kind of
Although
sucks
that could
because
be-
with this rotation and with this lighting, it's kind of hard to tell which ones are square, which ones are round, which ones are triangular.
yeah. Okay, that's...
What's you guys' least favorite puzzle that you've had in a video game lately?
I'm trying to think.
I feel like I don't see as many
Is it
puzzles.
bad if I say all of them?
Wow. I mean, I wouldn't say it's bad, but that's
mostly
intense.
because I'm not playing any puzzle games straight up, but just like puzzles in games, which are just not great usually.
So I'm
Like when they're just thrown
stuck-
in there type.
I'm stuck in Hypnospace Outlaw, and so that puzzle is what I'm going to say is bad.
The
All right, I
fact
think
that
I've almost got it now.
you're stuck in it ipso facto, it's a bad puzzle.
Yes.
No, god damn it. I wish it didn't play that fucking animation.
No, it needs to play the animation so it can load the cube swapping. It's actually really hardware intense. I imagine nobody else thought that was funny, but it's just like my favorite thing in spoiler warning is how many things turn out to be like we complain about something and then someone else points out it's there so that the game can load something in. It happens so often.
What's the other one that has a flat
So from now
bottom?
on, anything annoying is just to cover a loading screen.
I am so jealous of Mark Brown's tweet about the load-bearing walls.
Oh
was
yeah,
art.
that was a good one.